to Revelations of a Delusional Knitter. This is episode 70. It is Thursday, October 31st, 2013, and I'm Angela, your host. On to updates and housekeeping. Happy Halloween! I didn't think I'd record before today, but I'm here, and I'm wanting to record, so we're going to record. Welcome if you are new. If you are returning, I thank you as always, and either way, I hope you enjoy this episode and continue to watch. On to Week in Review. Tuesday, I had that training for unemployment, and that went pretty good. The facilitators were really funny and lots of fun, and then the second half, we broke for lunch, and then the second half we were working on resumes. I had met with the career coach like the week or two before, and she had already told me all about what was going to happen in the afternoon. So I was already prepared and had everything done, so I actually just had to sit through her talk real quick, and then I got to bug out of there quickly because I was already done. I had my resume. She did a talk and talked about things, and then she was giving everybody individual help, so when she was done talking, I was like, me, because I knew I was already done. So she came over and she was like, yep, you're all set, go ahead. And then she said, just email it to me after, and I'll take a thorough look at it, but you can go home because you did your homework and you're already done. I was like, yay! So I get to leave a little bit early, so that was good. And then, while I was there, my husband texted me, because his mom was trying to call our house, and the phone said it was disconnected. He called our house, and it said it was disconnected. I called our house, and it said it was disconnected. And I was like, oh my god, what is happening? I'm like, I know I paid the bill. Now, I was a little frantic while I was there because our phone is also through the same provider as our television and internet, and I was like, oh my god, did they shut it off? Like, what happened? Because typically if power goes out or cable goes out, it doesn't say it's disconnected. It just, it's a different message than that. So I was like freaking out because I was like, I know I paid them, And so when I get home though, we still had internet. I could use the phone. I could call out. But if I called the house from my cell phone, it did. It said it was disconnected. And the TV worked fine. Now, so then I called his mom up, and I totally forgot it was my birthday, and they always call all of their kids and sing them happy birthday on their birthday. I'm technically one of their kids at this point, and have been for several years now. So I totally forgot, so I was just calling her back up to be like, I don't know what's wrong with the phone, I can call out. As soon as they pick up the phone, they start singing happy birthday, and I was like, oh yeah! So, that was just funny. And then, now the phone appears to work, because I've gotten a couple of phone calls today. I never bothered calling them, because the TV was still working, the internet was still working, and I could still call out. If it went any longer, I was going to call, but I just figured it was a weird glitch thing, and it seems to have resolved itself, so, whatever. Unemployment. I finally got paid! Yay! So I hope that's resolved, and I will be getting my unemployment payments from now on. Heat. We still have no heat in the house, and it's a little bit chilly, but that should be resolved soon as well, because I gave, our plumber the down payment for the new unit last week, so it's on order, and it's coming. Yay! And then, next week, I have a chimney sweep come in for the wood stove. We can use the wood stove right now. It's not clogged. My husband went up on the roof and looked down it. It's got some creosote on it, but it's not terrible. So if we have to, we can use it, but it's been a couple of years since we had it swept, and we don't use it a ton, so we do it every couple of years, but it's due, so we want to get it done before we start using it a lot. And then I have goodies to show you, because it was my birthday, and I got goodies. The first thing I had, which has nothing to do with my birthday, there's a site called Groupon. If you don't know what that is, it's like really good deals. And the reason I like Groupon is that if your Groupon expires, you don't lose the money that you paid. For example, I had purchased one before for a whale watch, so it was buy one, get one free. So you paid one ticket price, but you got 2 tickets. It has expired because we never were able to go for the season. So the money that I paid, though, never expires. So if we go next year, I'll still get a ticket for what I paid. I just won't get the buy one, get one free deal. That's why I like Groupon, because you never lose the money that you actually put out. This Groupon, I had purchased one a long time ago for a local bead shop that I've never been to. And it was expiring on Tuesday. And over the weekend, I was like, oh, that's fine, I'll go on Monday. Well, luckily I looked it up, because they're not open on Mondays. That's the one day they're closed. So I was like, oh shoot, because I had the training on Tuesday, so I didn't have time to go on Tuesday. So I ended up running out Sunday before my mom and her friend came over to celebrate my birthday. I ran out in the morning, so I got to use the full amount because it was like half price. So I paid $15, but I got $30 worth of product. So that was really cool. And I'll show you, sorry, there's going to be crinkling because it's one of those bags. I'll show you some of what I got. So I just got, I have no particular projects in mind. I just, you know, grabbed several colors that I knew I would use. You know, so I actually have 2 tubes of all of these, but just to show you. And one, though, I think, I have a pattern from Laura Nelkin that was a mystery that I've actually seen, like, spoilers of, because it was a long time ago. It was a mystery knit-along that I never finished. Surprise, surprise, right? And it said 2 contrasting colors, and that's what I picked these 2 for. And I'm sure I have something in my stash that goes along with this. The funny thing is, or this one, actually I didn't show this one, or this one with one of those. The funny thing is, whenever I pick out beads, I always pick out the same colors that I already have. Like, I don't have a, I never get out of my comfort zone. The other thing I got, which I did actually have a project in mind for, but I grabbed 2 more because they were really cool. Do I have anything else in here? No, those are all these ones. So I got these 4. I got 2 tubes of these 4. And then I got, these were just gorgeous. They look like the, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, the Swarovski? No, that was not right. Swarovski crystals? That's probably still not right. But they're not, so they're a lot cheaper. And I got these 3 strings. And there's way more on here than you think, because I was actually getting them for a particular project. Not even all of them, I just grabbed a couple different colors because they were so inexpensive. But I have yarn in my stash, and I was looking before I went to the bead shop. This is Ice Queen by Rami Hill. It was a knitty pattern several years ago, so it's a nice like cowl hood thing that's beaded. And I have yarn in my stash that wasn't particularly for this, but it's the right yarn. Some Kid Silk Haze. And so I think I'm going to use this color bead with it. And now, or I might mix this one with that one. Mix them up. I don't know yet. But the funny thing was, it said 60 of those for that cowl. So I'm in the store and I'm like, 60? Man, how many of these do I need? So I start counting these off. Like, right here is 60, if that. So there's a lot more on here than you think there are. So yeah, I got these green, the clear, and purple, because I always do purple things, so I'm sure I'll use the purple ones at some point, but these were priced very well. And I think I only put out like $8, because I had 30 for the thing, but I obviously went a little over that, but that's fine. So that's cool. And yeah, things in my stash, like these single balls, I was trying to find things to do with, because they're just sitting in my stash. I probably bought that 5 or 6 years ago. Okay, on to birthday goodies. Yay! My husband got me awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And my mom, oh, before that, I have to insert a picture because it's up there. My mom, I mentioned before in another episode, there was a painting I wanted to do at the ceramic place. My mom kept being all weird about it, and I was like, what is your problem? She had painted it for me already for my birthday and was holding it. So it's up there on the wall, but I don't want to pick up the camera and make you, seasick, so I will insert a picture of it here. And it came out awesome, and she did such a fantastic job. I love it, and it is so my style, and it goes so well in this room. It's fabulous. So she got me some other, little goodies too, but that was her big present, and I love it. So my husband got me several nice goodies. He got me the new Megadeth CD, because I don't really care what CD it is. I've always loved Megadeth and always will. He got me The Great and Powerful Oz. I haven't seen this, but I really wanted to see it, and I'm sure I will love it. I don't see why I wouldn't like it, so. And then he got me, you probably often see me wearing hoodies. These are from Threadless, and I love them, and they are so well constructed, and they are such fabulous, fabulous hoodies. And he got me one, a shirt. I think I mentioned it on the last episode because I thought he was getting me. it. So it's Alice in Zombieland. Oh, if I can unfold it, sorry. And hopefully you can see it. So that's the back of the hoodie. And then the hoodies always have a little thing on the front here. And I love this. I had no idea that's what was on the front of this one. It's the Cheshire Cat. It's awesome. So here's one of my new hoodies. So at this point, I almost have one hoodie per day of the week now. So that's awesome. So that was really, really cool. Then he got me Jack Skellington pajamas. So it's a pajama set. And I haven't even taken it apart yet. I have to wash them. They glow in the dark! So that was awesome. I was super excited about that. And I love them. They're like t-shirt material, but it's a long sleeve and the pants, so that's really cool. And the piece de resistance. Have you ever seen the IT Crowd? I didn't expect this at all. And I was so excited. It's moss! And it's purple! So, if you've never seen the IT Crowd, you have no idea why I'm so excited. If you have seen the IT Crowd, you know why I'm so excited. So, those were what my hubby got me, and he did a fantastic job this year. I was really happy with everything he got me. And then, so he actually gave me my gifts on Sunday after my mom and her friend left, because on Tuesday I had that training all day. So he was like, do you want your presents, earlier? And I was like, yes, of course, right? Then on my birthday, he came home with a cheesecake, which is my favorite cake, and those roses back there, so that was nice. Okay, and then on to what I bought myself. I wanted to try these. I've heard people talking about them before. Some Addi Turbo Sock Rocket needles. So I only ordered one set. Usually I do Magic Loop my socks 2 at a time, but on separate needles, but I've never tried these before, so I didn't want to order 2. Because they're a little bit more expensive. They're Addis, so they were probably like $16 or something. So I just ordered one to try. And the 30-day sweater, they had a limited run of bags. So I bought one because it's purple! Everything's purple. But it's a really nice bag. So it's a canvas tote that you can fit a sweater in. It's very nicely constructed. It's very heavy. It's got a zipper. Awesome. And yeah, it's more than big enough to fit a sweater project in. And like I said, it's really heavy, nice nylon construction. And it's purple. How could I not get it? It's purple. Purple. So I got that for myself. And then, I'm not even going to show you them because it's just needles. So whatever, but I did want to show you, because I've talked about them before. I placed an order with the Loopy U. I love their stuff. So they just use U.S. Postal Priority mailing boxes, so just cardboard boxes. But this is how it's packaged inside the box, which is fantastic. If you're like me, my front steps don't have any covering from the weather. Like, for example, today it's raining out. If they left a box on my steps today, it would be soaked by the time I got home. And one time that happened, I ordered from the Loopy U. It was left outside. It was pouring rain all day. The box was like a mess. It was soaking wet. I pulled my stuff out, and it was perfectly fine because it was in this package. But then you open up the bag, and now these are needles. I didn't even buy yarn. I bought needles. They're all wrapped in tissue paper with their sticker. Beautifully wrapped. And then you get some Tootsie Rolls. And you get your receipt that always has a nice little note and a nice little sheepy drawing on it. That always makes me smile. Oh, and the sheep is raking leaves this time. And so it's also like there's always a different drawing on it. I love them. So that was really, really cool. And, yeah, so I ordered a couple of sets of 16-inch needles because I was finding knitting sweaters, top-down raglans. Uh-oh, I'm knocking over all my yarn. I was finding that I did not have many 16-inch needles to start the neck with in, like, any sizes. I had, like, 2, and they were not the sizes that I needed. So I bought a couple of 16-inch circular needles, or hats. Like, I don't really like double point needles for hats and stuff. I don't like using big double point needles. I don't mind using like size 1 or 2s. I don't like using 7 and 8s, so I ordered some 16-inch circulars for stuff like that. I just ordered, there's Pride Dreams for those, so that's what's in there, but I don't need to show you them. You know what needles look like. Let's see. I think that was it for my goodies. I posted a thread on the Ravelry board that I put up as a sticky that are questions you want answered on the podcast. So if anything comes up that you would like me to discuss on the podcast, just put it in that thread. And every week prior to me recording, I will go check that so that I can, you know, go through whatever is new. That is Willow, if you can hear her screeching out there. All right, on to Revelations, the Sockhead hat. I have not been knitting on it much. I did take it out the other day. This is my husband's sockhead hat, so I still have a ways to go. But with the other stuff I have been knitting recently, I haven't knit much on this. 30-day sweater is done. I finished on the 26th. Yay! So it was a 26-day sweater. And if you've been following that, or you've been watching the sweater knitting show that was on daily for the month of October, now it's going to be weekly. You probably saw my sweater a couple times. But it is done. What's the matter, baby girl? And I'm so happy with it. So I did a turtleneck. I should probably back up a little bit. And it's done, it's done, it's done. And once I washed it, and I didn't block it, I'm sorry. Once I washed it, it did get a lot softer, like I suspected, because the yarn was a little stiff. I washed it in Kookaburra, so it smells delicious. But yeah, it looks awesome. It came out really, really good. If you go on my Ravelry or my blog, there's a photo of me wearing it. That was prior to me washing it, so it still looked a little stiff, but you can see that it fits nicely. Fish Lips Kiss Heel Socks. I still can't say that very fast. I've been knitting on those. I had a little problem that I don't think is a problem. I'm not really sure. And I'll tell you what it was. So, both socks pretty much look the same. I'm still not near the heel, so I can't do the heel yet. So I was knitting on the two different socks, and I was knitting on one, and I looked over it, and I'm like, why does this look so different? It looked much tighter. The gauge looked much, much tighter. So I'm like, oh my god, did I grab two different size needles? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I didn't, because I thought I checked them before I started. Because that's one thing I don't like about knit picks. They're not marked. So if you don't put them back in the package, yes, you can get a needle gauge and try them. But you really don't know what they are. And the problem is, I think one of these is like slightly smaller than it's supposed to be, because I have two different needle gauges. This one is like a, it's a plastic, but it's a softer plastic, and the needle I suspected was smaller. I could get into the 0 hole. However, on this needle gauge, which is hard plastic, I cannot get that needle into the 0 hole. So I think the needle is just slightly smaller than it's supposed to be. The other thing I did is when I picked up the sock that looked like it had a wider gauge the second time, I intentionally knit it very, very tightly, and it was kind of matching up with the other sock. So I think what happened is two things. The needle is odd and slightly smaller than it's supposed to be. And I think I was knitting it like a lunatic. And the gauge was really, really tight. I did try them on. They don't seem drastically different, so I think they'll be fine as long as I pay attention and make sure that one is not very, very different in the gauge than the other one. But it was really bizarre. It was really, really bizarre. So, there's the other sock. And yeah, hopefully they're not like dramatically different. I'm gonna have to flag that needle. I think it was the other one. When I put it away and like mark it, because I'm supposedly have 5 sets of US 1 knit picks, 32-inch. Where they are, I don't know, because I can only find those ones. I also supposedly only have one size 0, and it's in the package, and I measured it, and it is the 0. So I don't know what happened. It was really bizarre, really weird. Ravello, I started, yay. I told you in the last episode I was not going to do a gauge swatch and I was just going to wing it. I had to rip it all out. But I suspected that would happen. The pattern called for a size 4, which is what I was using, and my gauge was way, way off. So I went up to a size 5, and it's better, but it's still not on. But I'm afraid to go up any higher because it's fingering weight yarn, and I'm afraid if I go up more needle sizes, like, you're going to be able to see through the fabric. Now, it's not blocked, and the gauge specified on the pattern says after blocking. So I know I can block this a lot. And number 2, I'm doing the pattern size a size up from what I actually need to do. That will help. So if my gauge is tighter, I have 4 inches of positive ease on the size that I'm knitting that I don't really need, so I'm sure it will work out fine. So here it is. This is the front, and I've started on my first stripe here. I did also have to rip out the stripe once already because I was doing a traveling jogless stripe, and stupid me was like strangling where the colors met, and I was twisting the working yarn with the resting yarn, and then it was all like bunched up and puckering, and I was like, great, when you block it, that's going to look so dumb. I tried dropping the stitches down and fixing it, but because I had wrapped the working yarn around the resting yarn, you couldn't fix it because it was all wrapped together. What I'm going to do is not wrap it at all, because the stripes are only 1/2 inch. I'm just going to pull it up loosely and just have that float in the back. It's going to be in the back of the sweater. I don't care. I also did put the yarn like behind here and pulled it a bit to make it look like it would once I blocked it, and you can't see it. When I wound it through, though, you could actually see the other color through the stitches. And I was like, that's not going to work. I don't want to cut the yarn. That's the other thing I could do. I could cut the yarn and weave in the ends. I don't want to cut it because technically I don't have what the pattern calls for on this. I'm a little short. So I don't want to have to cut it and weave in ends because I'm going to lose a couple of inches for every stripe. So I just want to do the little floats and see how it goes. The other thing with this sweater, so far so good. It's going wonderfully. My gauge is a little bit off, but once I block it, it will actually probably be on, or very, very close. And I have all that ease. The other thing that creeped me out a little bit, I showed this yarn before that's supposed to be kettle dyed, and I said it didn't look kettle dyed at all. Number 1. Number 2, once I wound it, I don't even know if the camera's going to show this, right? It looks like a gradient. It doesn't even look kettle dyed at all. It actually looks like a gradient, which actually will work out really cool for this sweater. But the only thing that creeped me out is when I wind yarn off the Swift, I usually guide the yarn, through my fingers. When I was done winding this, I had a black line across my fingers. Top of the sweater's almost white. I was like, what is going to happen when I wash this the first time? So I think what I'm going to do is, this yarn is only the bottom half of this sweater. So when I'm done with the whole sweater and I go to wash it, I'm only going to dunk the bottom half into the sink and see if any dye comes out. If no dye comes out, then I will wash the rest of the sweater. If dye starts coming out, I will only try and get only the bottom of the sweater wet and in the sink, and hopefully it doesn't bleed and get over the rest of my yarn. We'll have to see. I wish I knew that. Well, you wouldn't know that unless you wound it, but I wish I had known that when it was a skein, because I could have washed the skein, but I didn't know. So we'll see how that goes. And we're just going to be serenaded by a cat for the rest of the episode. So that's that for... It's going very well. And I'm not upset that I had to rip out a couple of times already, because I knew that going in. And also, with the beginning part, when I had to switch needles at the beginning and rip it out, I actually am not upset, because on one of the raglans, I messed up one, like, really bad. Like, the first 4 were all messed up. Then I had, like, a strand of yarn across it, where it looks like I put the yarn on the wrong side, and then knit it, and there was actually a strand of yarn going across. That would have drove me bananas if I finished the sweater. The other thing on the needles, which I'm not even going to... Well, it's right here. I guess I can show you, but it's not very exciting looking, because it just looks like this, is the penguin pillow that I was going to do like last year for a friend. Looks like this. It's a Knit Picks kit. It's a Knit Picks Swish, which is their superwash wool, which is really soft, by the way. It's really nice to knit with. This would make an excellent sweater. And for the price point, there's not a whole lot of yardage because it's a 50-gram skein. So it's 110 yards per skein. But, you know, for the price point for a sweater's worth of yarn, it's so soft. It would really be worth it. I actually want to order a sweater's worth of yarn in this and knit up a sweater. I noticed, though, I was reading the pattern because they give you 1 ball of white, 3 balls of black, 1 orange, and 2 red. And I'm like, 2 red? The only thing that's red is that scarf. I read the pattern. That scarf is 40 inches long. And I was like, what? So I think I'm going to start the scarf soon because it's completely separate from the pillow. And that way I don't finish the pillow and then be like, ugh, now I gotta knit this stupid scarf, this stupid penguin. I think I'm going to start the scarf now and just work on it a little bit every once in a while. Otherwise, I'm not going to want to do it once I finish the pillow. I couldn't believe that. I'm like, it's like a person's scarf. So that was just funny. I did not expect that. I even thought that the scarf was like in the seams of the pillow and only went across the front. No, it's like it's a whole separate scarf. It was like 40 inches. Oh my god, that's almost like 4 feet. So I should probably start that soon because I can probably do it on double points or something because it's not very wide, but it's long. String theory, I have no spinning. I really need to get back into spinning. I was wondering if I should break out like a loop bump or something to get my spinning mojo back. Should probably do that. Scrolls notebook review, we're going to skip one for this episode. And then hearsay, I've posted the Mystery Shawl Knit Along. Yay! Thank you so much to Stephanie, who test knit for me and found many, many errors in my written instructions, because I use the charts, and I rushed through the written instructions, and she found the errors in them. So it's all corrected, it's all good, it's all ready to go. I did post it, so there will be a thread on the Ravelry board for that. It is posted now with the preliminary information, gauge, yarn, needles, etc. The first clue will go out November 15th. The next clue will go out the 29th because it's a bottom-up shawl, so in the beginning you have a lot of stitches. So I figured that would give people enough time to get to the next clue. The rest of the clues will come out 1 week apart. And then that's that. So go check that out. If you just search, if you go to my page or if you just search Delusional Knitter in patterns, it'll come up. So it's just the Delusional Knitter 2013 Mystery Shawl Knit Along. That's what it says. Fingerless Mitts design. That's going to go up too today after I finish recording and everything. By the time you see the episode, it'll already be up anyway. But the Fingerless Mitts design is done test knitting, and she took fabulous pictures, better than mine. So I will be posting that, and I'm going to pick a winner for the Name That Pattern contest. I did end up coming up with a name myself, which I will tell you about after I draw the winner. Oh shoot, I had the board up here and then I went away from it. The camera shut off on me again. I really need to get a new kitchen timer or use my phone. I did look at the clock, but then I was so busy talking and looking at the camera I didn't realize what time it was and it shut off on me. Okay, so we had 2 through 26 for posts. I'm going to use random.org, random number generator. Hit go. See what happens. 25. Let's see who 25 was. That is Kitara. So I will message you. That was a guess that could have come from my Test Knitter site or my blog. So I will message that person. And yay! So what happened was, while we had the drawing going on and the contest and everything, I got a notice from, I don't even remember where, if it was Goodreads or Audible or whatever. Terry Goodkind writes the Sword of Truth series. That's Legend of the Seeker. And I got a notification that a new book was out from him, and I was like, oh, that's the name! I kept thinking of like a woman character that I knew of, but I couldn't put my finger on it. It's Kaylin. Kaylin. Kaylin is the name of the pattern. So if you have read those books, you know who Richard and Kaylin are. And that's going to be the name of the pattern. So that will be available for $3. I did decide to price this one because I did spend a lot of time on it. I think it's unique, and it's charted, it's well written, it's test knit, and everything was great, so I do think it's worth pricing instead of having for free. And I did spend a lot of time on it. So, yay! And I'm sure too, though, you know, I'll have more designs in the future and have lots of other free stuff. We have the free mystery shawl knit along, but some, you know, that's how designers make money. Can't have everything for free. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do personally myself is if something took a lot of time, was charted, is unique, I'm probably going to have it priced. If it was simple and easy for me to do and it's not incredibly spectacular or unique, then it'll be a free pattern. But this one's going to be $3, and that should be up shortly. Alright, on to Ravelry patterns. Found some goodies today. The first one is How Come That Blood? It's a sock pattern by Adam Kaczynski. Probably killing that name. It's free through November. So if you go to the pattern page, there's a coupon code on the pattern page to get it for free. And it's really cool. It's cables and ribs. Lovely. I'm sure that name has something to do with Halloween or television show or something that I'm not aware of. So that's the first one. And then Sheep Mittens by Jorid Lindvik. Love killing people's names on the show. This is amazing. It's a colorwork mitt pattern, and it's just absolutely amazing. So when you have the two mittens together, you have a sheep. Lovely. And it's $6. That's reasonable for that pattern. And the last one is... Oh, come on, Kindle. There we go. Bark by Sue Lazenby. It's 20% off until November 6th. And it's a lovely textured shawl pattern. I can't talk anymore. Textured shawl pattern. It's really pretty. And it uses... What does it use? It looks like fingering weight, but Kindle is completely ignoring me right now, by the way. Close. There we go. Oh, I clicked another button. Yeah, it's fingering weight yarn. I just clicked another button. I actually like that pattern. I might go get it. Those are your Ravelry pattern finds for today. So Bark is 20% off. It came out to like $5 US. It was UK money, so translated it was like $5. That's with the 20% off because there's no coupon code. It says that's what it's priced at right now. So that's that. Delusional Jabber 2013 Revelations, No More Fiber. I bought no yarn for my birthday. Oh wait, I bought this yarn for this sweater, but it's gonna be a sweater. I bought needles, and that was it. And I'm very happy, and I'm starting to find things in my stash to knit with, and doing well. Even the 30-day sweater. That yarn has been in my stash for like 6 years. So, doing well with that. Today, I had birthday lunch with some ex-coworkers and my friend B. We all had birthdays, 4 of us, around the same time. So we always went, there's a Chinese, Japanese sushi place by where I used to work that's really good. And they have a buffet. So you can eat as much as you want. You can get sushi, you can get Chinese, you can get whatever's out at the buffet, which is a lot, for a reasonable price. So that's what I did today, and went and met with them. So it's nice to see the other 2 guys. I talk to B all the time. I just Skyped with them the other night, but I haven't seen those 2 since I stopped working. And funny story about that place. I used to never, and I still won't do a lot, but I talk about work like this, but I just had to tell you guys this story because it is just too much. I heard through the grapevine that they had a staff meeting. And I've changed the names here to protect the innocent. And the VP got up and said, Sally and Jane have been doing an excellent job on Project XYZ. Now, the project doesn't matter. Jane was one of the first people laid off when that company bought us out. 3 or 4 years ago. Really? You don't even know who works there anymore? So then when I heard this, I was like, wow, what have I been doing? That's the kind of place this place was. Why, I'm not terribly upset that I got laid off from there. Is that not ridiculous? That's ridiculous. That's sad and ridiculous. That's just nuts. So, yeah, had fun with them today. Novel writing. Starting tomorrow, I can never say this right, it's NaNoWriMo. National Novel Writing Month is November. There's a whole big thing online, and there's local meetups and all kinds of stuff like that. So I've signed up for that in the past, but never followed through. Now that I'm unemployed, I'm going to follow through and hopefully finish my book by the end of the month. We'll see. We'll see. It's 50,000 words in a month. I have 6,000 something already written. So we'll see how that goes. Steam games. I haven't been playing any games. I did buy a game that was on sale the other day for my birthday. It was a Dracula game, but it was a indie adventure game, and the review said that the story was really good and it was really fun, so we'll see how that goes. Reading, still on the Walking Dead comics, haven't really been reading anything else. Magazines, spinning, knitting, TV, The Walking Dead, we're always up to date on. The Talking Dead. If you watch The Walking Dead, The Talking Dead, you may or may not watch. I never watched it for the first couple of seasons. I kind of wish I did, because it's actually very funny and really good, and there's a lot of good guests on there. The last one was Marilyn Manson. And now, I know some of his music, just because of the genre that I listen to, and I like a couple of his songs, but I'm not really a Marilyn Manson fan, and I always thought he was kind of weird. Now I know he's kind of weird. This episode, Awkward doesn't even begin to cover it. And Chris Hardwick did an excellent job dealing with him, but it took him a while to start to deal with him. And it was like halfway through before he could really make jokes and deal with him. He was just bizarre and not funny and talked really slow, and the show is only so long and there's 2 other guests. It was a disaster. When he first started, my husband and I both looked at each other. And then I said what we were thinking. I was like, what is he on? And the husband was like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like, oh my god. It was just weird. It was weird and awkward and very uncomfortable. And the funny thing was that we had watched it the day after it aired, because we recorded it. The funny thing was, at the very end, there was a lot of noise, and my husband had got up and he was in the kitchen, and they showed pictures of the next guest, and I thought I saw Chris Jericho from wrestling. And I was like, no way. And my husband was like, what? And I was like, I'm pretty sure Chris Jericho's on the next episode. I just saw his picture. So I grabbed my phone and I searched, because I wanted to see if that's who I thought I saw. And everything that came up was Marilyn Manson and how weird and awkward that episode was. It was creepy. It was weird. It was really, we were uncomfortable and we weren't on the show. So it was odd. I think I'm caught up on Hostages. That's going pretty good. I heard, though, that I think it got canceled. And Once Upon a Time I'm caught up on, and Once Upon a Time in Wonderland I think I'm caught up on. I haven't watched much else this week. I have been out of the house and a little busy. Amazing, right? The other thing on Netflix, because I got through Once Upon a Time, the new thing I've been watching on Netflix, which isn't new, is Sliders. I never watched that. And I like it a lot. I love those shows. If you take that and Star Trek Voyager, those kind of shows that have an episode and have a story, and they didn't have a huge budget for effects, so they had to actually, make a story and write dialogue. Those are the kind of shows I really like. That's why I really like older shows like The Incredible Hulk or Knight Rider, or those episodic shows where they actually had to think about a story and not just have things blowing up on the screen and, weird, gross effects. Those are the types of shows I really enjoy. So, I think that's it for this episode. I hope you have a wonderful Halloween. I'm a little sad. We don't get trick-or-treaters because we have a shared driveway and you can't actually see our house from the street. The driveway's really, really long, so we don't get trick-or-treaters, but it's raining out. I don't know if the town's gonna, which is also why my hair looks like this, postpone it, but the poor little kiddos. It's raining and cold and icky outside right now, so I don't know if they're gonna get to trick-or-treat today. But it's still Halloween, and happy Halloween. On Ravelry, I'm Delusional Knitter. Come and join the board, Revelations of a Delusional Knitter podcast. Blogspot, delusionalknitter.blogspot.com, Gmail, delusionalknitter@gmail.com, and my Etsy shop is etsy.com/shop/delusionalknitter. Sorry, I had to take a breath in there. So I hope you had a wonderful Halloween, or your kiddos did, and I will see you later. Have a wonderful week. Happy knitting and spinning.